Hi everyone, this is a look at how a popular video game can be used in education. For this video, I played Quantic Dream's latest game, Detroit Become Human, on the PlayStation 4 console. Directed by David Cage, Detroit is an open narrative video game set in Detroit, Michigan, where the player's choices can create wildly varying outcomes. It is set in fall 2038 when artificial intelligence has gotten to the point where androids are almost indistinguishable from humans, but are treated poorly due to the belief that the replacement of humans led to high unemployment and thus high crime and drug addiction rates. Androids are often seen as mechanical plastic objects for humans to use as slaves. They are bought and sold as any other electronic device and are rarely seen as anything more than a walking toy or computer. You play as three separate characters. The first is Connor, the hostage negotiator and police investigator who works with Hank, the alcoholic detective who is too old for this shit. Then Marcus, the friend and caregiver of famous artist Carl Manfred. And Kara, the homemaker for Todd, an abusive drug addict. She eventually saves his daughter Alice and runs away with her. As Connor, you and Hank investigate crime scenes where once obedient androids have killed or have run away from their owners. As Marcus, you explore Detroit, learning to value your individuality and question the oppressive system, leading the androids to a revolution. As Kara, you travel along the underground railroad of sorts, connecting with others and becoming a family with those you meet along the way. Games such as these can be used as supplementary activities for courses where students need to connect with a group similar to themselves. In this case, it would be useful in a course that covers oppressed populations, whether it be African Americans in both before the Civil War and during segregation, the Jewish population in the late 1930s and early 1940s Germany, and the current situations in Israel and South Sudan. Because of the time periods, cultures, religions, and other factors, a general American student trying to relate to a member of an oppressed population could be a stretch for them. Research suggests that people are able to empathize with those most similar to themselves in similar cultures and those they have interacted with most often. To combat this disconnect, learners could play chapters of this game that focus on the oppression of androids. The androids in Detroit are designed to look like humans from different races and gender, so the learner is bound to see an android similar to themselves. All playable characters are members of this oppressed group, something many learners may have never experienced in real life. Instead of the 1860s and 1940s or continents far away, they play in an environment that has familiar elements, even ones that have yet to be invented but are on the horizon. As another layer of empathy, the learner should play the chapter and experience the game as the character they control. It's this control over the character in movement, discovery, and choices that make the player have a stronger emotional and subconscious connection. After playing, the learner could then reflect on how they felt during the experience and how similar or different it would be for the oppressed person in the content covered in the course. Another type of content area this game could enhance would be any type of narrative studies.
Alice in Wonderland. Of course.
However, in that case, the full game should be used due to its well-designed narrative structure and recurring elements such as foreshadowing.
You are the one who will destroy Detroit.
Character development. Setting, pacing, and more. I often talk about the importance of space when it comes to character and narrative design. What I mean is the importance of adding dimension through physical space and time. We are three-dimensional beings in a four-dimensional existence, so we subconsciously seek and connect better with things that have volume and movement. Much of this is more than just being able to navigate a digital character through a digital space. We use space abstractly when we think of time and even use it in our language to describe things such as a cliffhanger. The term cliffhanger implies space for something to fall. Just as this game branches out with each possible future in a decision tree, the past would be the equivalent of its roots. Each character, even non-playable characters, has a full backstory told through the setting and dialogue. Their backstories are interwoven into the culture and economic changes, providing a reason the characters are how they are. The settings are similar, having pasts that determine their current look and function. This reinforces better narrative design, and learners can identify or relate these common elements to topics covered in class. As for game design, this game provides something for many different player types. Using Bartle's taxonomy, the explorer type has enough open world to explore the areas, there are investigative and plot puzzles, and enough things to look at to keep them interested. The HUD or heads-up display system shows a list of possible tasks for the achiever type to complete, telling them in words or visually how close they are to finishing the tasks. Socializers can talk to other players and watch non-playable characters in the environment interact. Since this game is often different for each player, socializers can have fun discussing the differences amongst each other after the game ends. And killers, although not the focus of the game, can have fun during the combat and quick-time event-heavy scenes. Overall, Detroit Become Human could be incorporated in different ways in different types of classes. Since the game is replayable and broken into chapters, it can be played by multiple students, and sections can be played with full narrative arcs within short time periods. However, there is a cost investment when buying a PS4. This is a PS4 exclusive game and not all classrooms can access this technology. A PS4 could be a good investment for a classroom since many of the games are free, and it supports virtual reality. On a final note, Detroit Become Human can also teach educators some tricks for traditional assessments. I will end this video with a shortened example of how a multiple choice test appears within the game's plot using exploration, discovery, and analysis to complete, all while developing the characters. A successful attempt is rewarded with more plot that motivates the player to continue.
Lieutenant, I think I figured out what happened.
Oh, yeah? Shoot, I'm all ears.
It all started in the kitchen.
There are obvious signs of a struggle. Question is, what exactly happened here?
I think the victim attacked the android with the bat.
That lines up with the evidence. Go on.
The victim fled to the living room.
And he tried to get away from the android. All right, that makes sense.
The android murdered the victim with the knife.
Okay. Your theory's not totally ridiculous, but it doesn't tell us where the android went.
It was damaged by the bat and lost some therium.
Lost some what?
Therium. You call it blue blood. It's the fluid that powers androids' biocomponents. It evaporates after a few hours and becomes invisible to the naked eye.
Oh, but I bet you can still see it, can't you?
Correct.
Yeah. Hey, what are you doing with that chair?
I'm going to check something.
I was just defending myself. He was gonna kill me. I'm begging you. Don't tell him.